direct pressure on dissenters. This is a stabilizing mechanism within a cultural group. Without this, most early ancient cultures would have been, well, fell apart. Okay? Most early cultures depended on a hierarchical system.
Well, in the modern system, those are heretics.
Oh,
Direct pressure
yeah,
on the center
but
heretic.
when you have one person or two people, okay, who lead, and then it breaks down from there, okay, and you see this in almost every ancient culture, and by almost I say, there's some exceptions like the ancient Greeks and the Republic. You have Rome with the Senate, but then they went back to Caesar, so it all depends. Even then, you can still account for, like, military leaders having more power than the actual Senate. But anytime you have a dissenter here who causes people to question, it puts, or say they question here, it causes people to question all the way up. The minute someone doubts this, this person's leadership, this group leadership falters, and nothing these people support is viable. It means everything that they support, say they support everything down here, and the peasants say no more. Well, nothing that these people support works, and the entire social structure that they have could go away. All the rules, the controls for resources, everything. And then society just falls.
And that's why I guess Jesus was crucified. He was.
Oh, there's no historical evidence.
Oh, I'm talking about a story, not a person. I mean, in the story, he was a dissenter.
Oh, yeah. Well, religions, a lot of the Abrahamic religions love playing the victim card. It's one of their mainstays, fallback positions is the victim card. Self-censorship. Self-censorship is a big problem within a group like religion, because you have these issues where, like, say, for example, you have, say I was to say this is an evil thing, and if you happen to touch it or have it near you, you're gonna die.
You're going to die. You're touching it.
Oh, no, I'm not. You are. I didn't touch it at all. He's the one that's been touching it.
I'm just going to touch it wrong.
But you see, it's the emperor's new clothes. All right? You're not going to say that the emperor's naked. You don't want to. Okay? Self-censorship. Okay? Illusion of unanimity. I think the best one would be the silent majority. Anyone ever heard that phrase? Nixon used it when he was campaigning. He was campaigning for the silent majority when he was campaigning for president. And he said, I'm a member of the silent majority. I'm where the majority of the people. We're unified. It's like, no, you're not.
When some issue wins by one vote, and then we say we've solved the problem, would that be an illusion of unanimity?
No, that's a majority consensus.
Okay.
Illusion of unanimity means you believe you're unanimous, even when you're not. There's dissenters among you, but because there's self-censorship, they won't speak up.
Oh, that was like Fox News predicting that Romney was going to win.
Yeah,
And they were so convinced, they didn't believe that.
I have too much intellectual integrity to watch Fox News.
Well, I don't want to be there, but I just thought that's an example. They were so sure they were right that
I only watch it whenever there's something incredibly stupid on, or they're roasting an atheist. Mostly because I have to figure out just how badly they're wrong. Self-appointed mind guards. These are the stability mechanisms in groupthink to prevent you from actually questioning, like belief in inherent morality, all these things. Cognitive biases is basically what that is. Self-appointed mind guards. Prevent you from looking outside the box.
And when you say self-appointed, does that appointing happen subconsciously or consciously?
Sometimes it can happen consciously, but most of the time it's a
I
subconscious
think so.
process.
Because if it happened
Well,
consciously.
you remember the cognitive functions I was saying?
Yeah.
You have stability mechanisms, plasticity, all these work in concert with groupthink to support.
Yeah.
Confirmation bias is a cognitive bias that people experience all the time. Pseudosciences are rife with confirmation bias in cognitive dissonance. Fight, flight, instinctual mechanisms, stabilizing behaviors. Okay? Behavior action activators condition repetitive behavior via reward. Okay? You do something, it feels great. You feel euphoria. People in group atmospheres in churches have been found to literally generate a drug in their brain. I think it's like oxytocin or something. Like, it's not my speciality, and if I had my friend on one, I think, okay, what's the name on all the chemicals? But basically, they generate euphoria. It's a group state. It happens all the time. You see it in sports arenas, anywhere where there's a group atmosphere where people are riling each other up. You'll have a euphoric response, and the chemical that's generated it creates a feeling similar to that of cocaine. Which means you actually are being rewarded with that level of chemical high,
Yeah,
and you're doing it to yourself.
See, one way I think of it is that we're sort of addicted to intimacy.
What?
There's only one reward system in the brain. It's this. I mean, it is the same reward system that's activated by drugs as well as by like when your sports team wins.
Yeah.
But it's also activated by like puppies.
Exactly.
So it doesn't. It's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the
I mean, it's like serotonin, dopamine,
Dope-
oxytocin.
Yes,
It's
thank you.
complicated. It's a complicated system, but there is
Yeah.
one system.
yeah. Well, fight.
Right, cookies is reactive.
And
Yeah. Thank you. Don't. But whatever it is, the point being is that
and doesn't that support a lot of religion, the fact that that
well, the
activation-
greater the reward. Studies have shown that.
I mean, religion
when
can sort of
people,
be drug in that sense, because it activates
yeah.
those.
When people
Good drugs.
experience these massive euphoric events, they basically go under to the point where they're like, I felt the spirit of the Lord. You ever
They're
heard
like
that?
Pope's visit. No,
Yeah.
Pope, as a classic
Where people
example.
feel really great about themselves. It's because they're having that effect.
Yeah.
Okay, they're getting a reward via repetitive behavior. Okay, fight, flight, freeze system results in punishment. It basically is anxiety, fear. For the most part, we went over that. Which transitions into being interpreted into heaven and hell dichotomy. Okay, basically, people feel great about things. Okay, transitions into a heaven type scenario. They want to see the best parts of things. And you have flight, freeze, which is a punishment. They want to see hell. Okay, I'll get more on that. Now, formulating the religion. Death, common, universal. Okay, blocking the proper infrastructure for understanding. One of the reasons why I went over death. Okay, when we die, we see dead body or Bob's dead. Okay. Now, what do we know about Bob's dead? He just was walking and picking berries and died.
He likes berries.
Okay, berries. He was walking. Should we put that in?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, it was also kind of windy.
Sure.
Now, you know what? Jill died yesterday picking berries. She wasn't walking, but it was windy. Now next week, Ezra also dies picking berries, and it's also
Pick berries
windy.
next week.
You know what we're doing? we're associating the berries with the wind. Conditioning ourselves to believe when it's windy, we should pick berries because it's going to die. We're trying to, okay? So guess what? Now, whenever there's wind, we don't pick berries. People die. See how that works?
You know, what is normally something that protects you from danger gets misconstrued.
Exactly. And that's because of the fight, flight, fear response. You're not understanding what the association is. Now the berries may actually be poisonous if you eat too much. Okay, well, with death, you have the visible evidence. Life, once there, doesn't exist. Where does it go? Okay? Bob, Sally, and Ezra were both alive. Okay? Well, when they were alive, we could tell they were alive. So, where does the life go? How do we explain it? Okay? Anyone hear of animism?
What?
Animism. It's technical. It's considered one of the earliest religions, if not the first.
It's the notion that there's like a
How do you
consciousness
spell
of
it?
everything, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Jedi. Except instead of energy linking everything, it's spirits. Everything has a spirit. You have trees. Trees have spirits. Rocks have spirits. The clouds have spirits. But everything has a spirit. Okay? And when you die, your spirit leaves and transitions on to a new plane of existence. And that's why your body no longer shows signs of life. It's because your spirit has left it. And this transitions into the soul, as the understanding grows. And you say, well, trees and rocks really don't have spirits. So, especially when people started cutting down lots of trees for farming. They're like, we can't keep cutting down these trees if these trees have souls, but they don't have souls. All humans have souls. Cows. Well, we need cows for food. Both cows for food. Ironically enough, one of the main fuel sources in India for centuries past for fuel, because it's a rainforest.
Cow dung.
Exactly. What's the one animal that's sacred to them?
Cows.
Exactly. They protected their cattle by making it sacred. Their fuel source, their resource, they protected by making it sacred.
That's interesting. I never did realize that.
A lot of, you can track back a lot of
By
religious
the way,
beliefs to a need.
I came from southwest Kansas where there were no trees. And cow dung was the only fuel for the winters. And my dad talked about how much ashes you had to scoop out to about a third. You put wood in, and you get this many ashes. You put that much cow dung in, you get about that many ashes. Because the main energy's already been taken out of it.
Oh, I am sorry for killing off Esther, but all right. Fear of death. Once we've answered where it goes, we have this fear of death. How are we going to solve the fear of death? People are afraid. They don't want to die, but we need food. We need berries and other things in the original land. How are we going to stop the fear of death?
Make
Don't
death
die.
okay by creating an afterlife or something good
Exactly.
that happens.
We're going to our cognitive processes are going to take hold, and we're going to turn a positive into a negative. Okay? Exactly. Survivor's guilt. How do we deal with survivor's guilt?
Don't survive.
It's an option.
Same kind of thing, turning the positive into the negative. Oh, it was God's will that this person
Exactly.
died, no, I didn't.
We create a mechanism, a stability mechanism, okay, that we apply using plasticity to the previous knowledge of something. We connect those different things. The conditioning over time, it's conditioned into generations to attach the two together. And eventually you have generational conditioning where we transition from one system to the next generation, and so on and so forth.